In terms of people hearing you talk about you for the first time, what do you actually do in your own words right now?
What I do is I help cut through complexity and confusion in all aspects of your brand, that 40,000 foot view, help you get above it for a minute and say, all right, now that we understand the entire landscape, what has to be true in order for us to move from here to there in the next 3 to 12 weeks or 3 to 12 months, depending on what your short or long-term goals are. And then from there, we get really clear, we get you really aligned on again, what is working and what are the opportunities that you can take advantage of next. And then finally, taking that momentum and then just letting that snowball turn over as much as we possibly can. Sometimes, Devo, that's just as simple as somebody needing a thinking partner, like somebody to bat ideas around with. Sometimes it's as deep and detailed as we got to get in a room and we got to put whiteboard and big post-it notes up on every single wall, throw every idea out there, and then start to whittle away ideas. And then it's everything in between too, right? Sometimes you just need good, clean data or an objective perspective or a trusted voice or somebody to say, hey, this works for a client, or let's go and test this thing because it's very low risk and it won't cost you anything, but it'll tell us directionally where you should go next.
I want to start off with one thing, if I may. Somebody told me this the other day, and it's a business coach of mine. He said you need to make the distinction between growing and scaling, because scaling means you're trying to
Mm.
sell the business, growing means you're trying to grow the business. I'm just curious, thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, I mean, I have no plans to sell or hire employees. I love what I'm doing. I love the solo nature of it. So it would be more in the growth aspect of it than the scale aspect. That's a great clarifying question.
Yeah, and I don't know that I have an opinion about it one way or the other. I just found it interesting, and this is somebody who has scaled and exited four companies, so I'm assuming he has some bandwidth on that. He's
Yeah,
just, and he said it was really more just a sort of a psychological thing in your head. If are you building your business to continue to grow and expand and help people, or are you trying to grow so you can scale it and sell it? And I was just like, that's an interesting way. And
sure.
I'm in the growing phase as well. So
Yeah,
growing and sustenance phase is for me. So it's an
that's a good
interesting
point.
distinction in terms of this scale by narrowing. So ask me the question, like, what is it specifically that you're looking to solve, or we're going to try to solve today?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pipeline thing for me because what I'd love to do at the end of the day is have exactly, and I've got a sales coach that I'm working with now who's helping me like understand how to work sales nav, how to find your ICP the correct way. I've been so fortunate in my business to have almost nothing but referrals, and it's been awesome because those are the people I want to work with, like friends of friends and such. So now I'm at the point where, specifically here in Middle Tennessee, starting to narrow down geographically and maybe even, from an ARR standpoint, like who are the businesses that need help, number one, and don't know about this kind of work as well.
Is doing websites part of what you would do, like the more of the technical stuff, or are you doing more of the direction around it?
That's more of the directional side of it. So it's the easiest place to say like if it doesn't make sense to somebody like me who is literally looking at it cold, then we need to start dialing in your messaging and actually have a strategy around it. I looked at one that was probably 9 or 10 pages long, so much content, way too much stuff, and my directive was like, it just needs a strategy. It's almost like they took everybody's input and threw it on the website. So, and I say to clients all the time, website's not your end all be all necessarily, but it is like your business card. It's the yellow pages of today. And if it's not representative of your brand or it's not clear, then you got a problem.
But it is interesting how it's sort of like a de-evolution with a sort of like a rebrand of web technology in of itself and how people are using them now. And so
Mhm.
I'm actually in the middle of doing that as well. I'm moving away from sort of this comprehensive bulletin board that is experiential and funnel and all those things, which are still have a place, but really just sort of like a one page. And my SEO coach is telling me that he doesn't have enough information to work with, but I would rather use that as just sort of a landing page model rather
Yep.
than like this is where you get all the information. If you really want to
Right.
find out information from me, social media is where I'm doing what I do now best. And so LinkedIn is something I've really been diving into. So it's interesting, and I love this. I love this question, by the way. Thank you, because you and I are in similar spaces, and I'll just share some of the things that I'm doing with you if you don't, if you're open to that.
Yeah. Let's go.
And one of the things that I started using was Sales Navigator in conjunction with a couple of different tools that aggregate the data and then enable you to follow people on social media. So you instead of like just going out and lambasting them with a sales inquiry, it pings them, it likes some of their posts. It's called Cleverly. Have you heard of this?
No, I haven't.
Read about this before you jump into it, Charlie, because there are some sort of nuances that people have reputedly told me could get you into trouble. I personally have not found this, and I hate being hit with sales all the time. Like all day long, people are hitting me up, and so the approach for Cleverly, and if you're listening, we don't get any plug for this, but I am using it, and it's quite effective for me. So basically, you set up sort of like your Airbnb filter of who you want to target, right? And then it generates a link for you. You take that link and you throw it into Sales Navigator. It bounces back and forth on somehow technology behind the scenes, and then it spills out a filter of people that you want to connect with that are in that space. And then you can set up within Cleverly, you can set up these pings of going out and first of all, it'll like a message, and then you can drop a comment with a DM, and then you can activate it into your funnel. It's a softer, cleaner way rather than just like having to go through and find people. Anyway, it's a pretty cool tool. So that's one thing that I have
Okay.
found. I would like to say I was getting a bit frustrated with the lack of responses to things the other day, and I had to be reminded by a couple of people in my ecosystem that this is the time of the year to slow your roll. Nobody's spending money right now on business; they're spending money on filling their kids' fucking stockings with thousands of things.
It's
So I'm
true.
like, yeah, that is true. So people are not spending money. But anyhow, so that was one thing, and my second thing I've just started, which I've already found to be quite viral for me and really effective, is I've started doing twice a month workshops. They are 30 to 45-minute workshops, and I pick a central topic that is at the core of my zone of genius.